Hi everyone. Well, since last week's video on could was so popular, I decided to continue with modal verbs this week, and we're going to focus on the modal verb would. So let's get straight into it. Would, similar to could, has many different uses. So let's start with the first one, requests. You can use would for making requests. For example, would you take me to the airport tomorrow? Now it's very, very similar to could. They're both very polite ways of making a request. So could you take me to the airport and would you take me to the airport are really, really similar. The only difference really is that could is more about possibility. Could you take me to the airport is like, is there a possibility you can take me to the airport? And would is more, are you willing to take me to the airport? Do you want to take me to the airport? It's not really about possibility. But at the end of the day, if you say, could you take me to the airport? Or would you take me to the airport? It's pretty much the same thing. We also use would for offers. The most common being, would you like? Would you like a cup of tea? Would you like a sandwich? Would you like to go out with me? Would you like some help? And again, it's a little more polite than saying, do you want? Do you want a cup of tea? Do you want a sandwich? Would you like is just that bit more polite. We use would for desires, things that we want. I would like, I would love, I would really enjoy. I would like a cup of tea right now. I would love to go to the cinema. I would really enjoy an ice cream right about now. And in spoken English, we often use the contraction here. Instead of saying, I would like, we say, I'd like, I'd enjoy, I'd love. We use would in reported speech. So in direct speech, whenever we use will, in reported speech, we use would. We replace it with would. For example, I will go to the mountains this weekend. Catherine said she would go to the mountains this weekend. So we replace will with would. Let's take another example. I will help you. Catherine said she would help me. We also use would for willingness in the past. So what is willingness? Willingness is when you're happy to do something. Let's take this example. The bank won't give me a loan. So the bank are not willing to give me a loan. They don't want to give me a loan, basically. So in the past, I could say the bank wouldn't give me a loan. The bank were not willing to give me a loan. Now, generally, we use this willingness in the past only with negative. For example, using will not or the contraction won't, we change it to wouldn't in the past. It doesn't really make sense to use would in the past. Let me give you an example. I will let my daughter go to the party. I would let my daughter go to the party. We don't even use would in there. It's superfluous, meaning it's extra information that we don't need. We would simply say, I let my daughter go to the party. So in general, with this willingness, we only use it in the negative. So let me give you some more examples just to get that into your brain, okay? Paul won't do his homework. Last night, Paul wouldn't do his homework. He was not willing to do his homework. The internet won't work. Yesterday, the internet wouldn't work. Okay, did you get it? Good. We use would for habits in the past. Very, very similar to how we use used to in the past for habits as well. They're synonyms of each other. For example, when I was young, I used to ride my bike to school. When I was young, I would ride my bike to school. When I lived in Singapore, I would eat at the same restaurant every day. Or when I lived in Singapore, I used to eat at the same restaurant every day. So it's very, very similar. We also use wish with would. We generally use wish for things that we want to change about another person. Like, for example, I wish he would not smoke in here, or I wish you would come visit more often. We generally don't use it for things about ourselves. You wouldn't say, I wish I would do more exercise. No, we would simply say, I wish I did more exercise. Okay. We also don't really use it for things, to change things. I wish tomorrow would be Christmas Day. We don't really use that. However, there is an exception. For weather, we do actually use it. I wish it would rain tomorrow, for example, or I wish tomorrow would be sunny. That's acceptable. But generally, just for weather and for behaviors of other people that we want to change. Some more examples. I wish that you wouldn't work so late. I wish that the neighbors would be quiet. I wish Peter would just ask me out on a date. Okay, finally, let's talk about would for conditional sentences. So we can use would in the second conditional. Now, what is the second conditional? It's a scenario or a situation that is probably not likely to happen. For example, if I won the lotto, I would travel the world. If I moved to Moscow, I would learn Russian. That's the second conditional. And we use would for the third conditional. The third conditional uses the structure would, have, plus past participle. It's about a scenario in the past that didn't happen, but we imagine the result. For example, if I had gone to bed earlier, I wouldn't be so tired now. If I had won the lotto, I would have traveled around the world. So you didn't win the lotto, and if you had, you would have traveled around the world. It's similar to could have plus past participle. For example, if I had won the lotto, I could have traveled around the world. There's a slight difference in meaning between would and could. As I explained previously, could is more about the possibility. For example, if I had won the lotto, there is a possibility to travel overseas. Okay, but if you use would, it's more the willingness, the fact that you would be happy to do something. I would have traveled overseas. I could have is just a possibility. So I think that covers everything. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments below. And as always, to practice these, you should really write some sentences of your own. If you write them in the comments, I will correct them for sure. Go for it. Thanks a lot and see you next time.